Hello and welcome. I'm Mercy, the Dungeon Master at HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back with another DM working stream. Join me for 1 hour of mostly focused work as we put together some NPCs and do some other work on our D&D campaign, The Kingdom of Rin. If you're not familiar with The Kingdom of Rin, we are on session 5 right now. We just recorded that session this last weekend. We play about once a month, plus or minus, and we stream live on twitch.tv/HereThereBeMonsters. And we upload the episodes on YouTube about a week later. 2 quick bits of news. One is this episode of The Kingdom of Rin, Session 5. I'm planning on getting some overlays added to the YouTube video, so that way, as you're watching through, you can get a little bit of that extra context when somebody says, like, I want to roll for move silently. Then I'm going to put up a little thing that says this is their bonus to move silently, so that way it makes the process of watching a little bit more engaging. Also, next weekend, which starts on Friday the 28th of April 2023, we are going to be celebrating our 5-year affiliate anniversary on Twitch. Again, that's twitch.tv/HereThereBeMonsters. We're going to be hosting a subathon that's going to go for who knows how long. Our longest ever subathon went for over 120 hours. We'll be playing all sorts of games. We'll be doing party games. We'll be doing giveaways. There'll be potentially up to a couple $100 worth of giveaways. And it's just going to be a blast. We'll be playing EverQuest and 7 Days to Die and Valheim. Of course, all of our normal games, but probably also like some Project Zomboid. We'll be doing some Golf with Friends, some Jackbox party packs. It'll be a good time. So hopefully we'll see you over there. Mark your calendars, Friday the 28th. And with that, let's get to work. Hello, Vincent. Capstone NPCs. So I guess a little bit of context for anybody who doesn't know. The city of Capstone, or the town of Capstone, rather, is right down here below me and is the setting of our current campaign. So there is Capstone Peak, which is a solo mountain / volcano. And next to that, there is a currently inhabited town called Capstone. So, yeah, I see the confusion potentially may have been like, well, what the Capstone NPC? Is that like a special NPC? But yeah, we're working on NPCs for the town of Capstone. So for me, and I certainly don't do this for all NPCs, but major or NPCs who have the potential to be major NPCs, I actually fully stat out. So here I have with me four character sheets that are fully filled out, fully fleshed out, fully playable characters that are all designed within the system of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. They are playable, ready to go, or at least mostly. There are a couple of little things that need to be cleaned up on these sheets, and so that's actually going to be the first thing here, is getting that done. I first made these... Oh, wow. Okay. I first made these characters like 2 months ago when we were around episode 2 or 3 in the campaign so far, and they are almost completely done. Some of them are as minimal as this one. Just needs one more language. And some of them are a little bit more incomplete, like where I still need to spend skill points and whatnot for them. How can you make influential NPCs that aren't combat heavy? That's a fantastic question. So, to me, and part of the reason why, especially for influential NPCs, I like to make sheets, is because the sheet can still inform the character whether or not they're going to be in combat. Do they have high intelligence, low charisma? So, like, maybe they're really smart, but they're bad at convincing people that they have good ideas. Are they really strong with low dexterity? Like, okay, well then, what is it that they do for work? Do they run a shop? Okay, well then, maybe they used to be a farmer, and that's why they're really strong, and so now their shop is going to be a blacksmithy because they have the strength to do that. So that's why I like to base everything still in like the mechanics of D&D, is because it gives me jumping off points for decisions like that. You can expand that logic to skill points as well. But I think so that's kind of that's like my step one. I should probably make a video on this at some point. But that's my step one, is to give them at least some basic stats and maybe even some skills. And then 2, think about what makes a character or an NPC or whatever interesting. You know, what does it want, and how is it going to behave to get what it wants? So I always try and give at least 1 or 2 major motivations for a character, or for an NPC. I mean, it's the same as a character. And then this is where alignment really comes in. And I know the alignment system is oft maligned. People think that it's heavy-handed or too restrictive or whatever, but to me, think Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Alignment is more like guidelines than actual rules. So for me, alignment leads to how that character is going to tend to pursue, or that NPC, I don't know why I keep saying character, how that NPC is going to pursue that goal. So like if we have, in my example of the farmer turned blacksmith, well, what do they want to do? Okay, well, maybe they want to be the best blacksmith, or maybe they just want to make farm implements, or, you know, whatever. So we make a decision based on that. And then what's their alignment? Well, your average NPC is probably somewhere around, you know, somewhere kind of between lawful neutral and chaotic neutral, right? Unless you are working in a campaign setting that has especially strong influences of goodness or evil. So if our blacksmith is lawful neutral, well, now if our story is involving, you know, maybe there's a war brewing or something like that, then they're going to be more likely to give up their, you know, say like they wanted to, because they used to be a farmer, they wanted to make farm implements, they make plowshares, you know, maybe they even make like horseshoes and that kind of thing. Maybe they're going to be more receptive now, or maybe that's a story hook for that's what they used to do, but more recently they've been pressed into service for the king or the local lord or whatever, making weapons or some of that kind of thing. So I think if you start with some stats, give them some skills or a background if you're playing 5th edition or, you know, what have you. Give them motivation, and then give them a framework for how they're going to pursue that motivation. I think those 3 things can lead to more interesting NPCs that you don't have to go too deep on. And I really probably should turn that into its own separate video. I think that's probably valuable advice for people. Let me grab a pencil. All right, so languages for our first NPC. That's literally the only thing that's not done for this first one. What languages should this NPC know? Now, for me, as I said, I fully build out my characters. That is definitely going to the extreme. I like that for a number of reasons. For one, it gives me the most, and like I said, I definitely don't do this for all NPCs. I'll do this for a handful of NPCs in an area. Got my pencil. But for me, it gives a couple of things. For one, it gives me the most detail as far as how to pursue that NPC character's goals. But for 2, also on the off chance that we want to bring in a new player, or we want to have a guest star on the show, or maybe a player character dies and they decide that they really, really like, you know, whatever their favorite NPC was or whatever. That character also is sitting there. It's ready to go. It can be picked up and played right then. And, you know, sometimes also NPCs, even if it's not a combat NPC, but especially NPCs that have strong combat skills, might end up in combat with the, I was going to say with the party, and then I was going to say, well, not necessarily combat with the party, but maybe that too, knowing your average D&D party. But they may end up in combat alongside the party. What languages are prevalent in the setting, and how many various races have they been in contact with? Fantastic way of thinking through it. So the setting itself, let me go back to this screen. And some of our setting info is actually available. I should add that link to the YouTube chatbot as well. I need to write, there's a couple things. We're having good ideas here. But there's a Google Drive that has some public information. But the short version is the kingdom is actually obviously much bigger than this. Zoom it out a little bit. The kingdom sits on the western side of these mountains called the Serpent Spine Mountains. And for the most part, the kingdom is largely in a state of peace. Now, that being said, our campaign, as it sits right now, is taking place near and around the area of Capstone, which is on the eastern side of the mountains, which is the more uncivilized part of content. So the kingdom itself is predominantly human, like over 50%, but certainly not exclusively human. Most of the goodly races, halflings, dwarves, elves, etc., can be found within the kingdom with relative ease. Outside of the kingdom, you're more likely, there's an elven kingdom that's out there somewhere. There's a dwarven kingdom that's out there somewhere. So those languages are a little bit more likely to be spoken in the Capstone area. And then also there's more interaction with some of the evil races, such as goblins, orcs, etc., which are kind of our primary antagonists right now. So the NPC that we're talking about right now is a member of the Capstone Scouts. So not really like acting in a diplomatic role and not especially strong in a combat role. So, and not like a spy or somebody involved in espionage. So probably not super likely to speak languages of their enemies. Probably not likely to know Goblin or Orcish. I think it makes the most sense. The most sense for it to be another goodly language. I think about this NPC's personality as well, and kind of what little kind of backstory that I have thrown out there for them. I think we're gonna go with Elvish. It makes sense. What if wow. You wonder if any of the NPCs will be half races. I'm not good about thinking in that context because it is version 3.5 and there wasn't as much of a reliance on mixed racial heritages. And most of the ones that there were, it was half human and half something, like half elf or half orc or whatever. So there is definitely some of that. And there are also some bloodline influenced races as well, like tieflings, Aasimar, the Fey touched equivalent of that I'm trying to blank on right now. So they absolutely do exist. The NPCs that I have in front of me right here are not of mixed racial heritage, but that definitely is something that will be encountered. Okay, before I forget, let's write down, because I had two ideas. Oh boy, who remembers? What did I say? Oh, making a video explaining how to make NPCs. I'll write this down so I don't forget it. How to make NPCs, especially non-combat NPCs. What was the other thing? Forgot to write it down. But I didn't forget to write it down. I was trying to do something else. Oh, yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you. Getting the link for the Google Drive onto YouTube. Now that I can actually do right now. That'll be pretty quick. Chatbot. Probably do it as a timer, right? That way it periodically puts the link in the chat. Hi, I'm Lass. How are you? D&D. Available to the public. Get link. Hi, no, lol. Anyone with the link could be a viewer. Copy the link. Yeah, this will be pretty quick. This is one of those things, even though it wasn't on my to-do list for today, I think it's better to just get it done because it's going to take like 3 to 5 minutes to do. And some of the best advice I ever got, especially within a working context, is if it can be done in less than 5 minutes, do it right now. Are there potentially ranger NPCs for help, given how prevalent the forest is in the Capstone area? There absolutely are. In fact, one of them is sitting in my lap right here. Good thought. I super appreciate your engagement. This is Google Drive with D&D info. Want to know more about the campaign? Click the... And this Google Drive link takes you to the public info folder. Check back because we'll add more as we go. Perfect. We want this to be like every 10 minutes while we're live, every 30 minutes while we're not live. Add the timer. Cool, that's done. And our first NPC is fully finished as well. So yeah, within the town of Capstone, there are the town is under martial law. Now, in the modern sense, we think of that as like that's a bad thing, but here all it is because the Kingdom of Rin tends to be peaceful. Most cities don't have standing militias. They have town watch, but that's it. Now, because the town of Capstone has been dealing with more extant threats, they formed a militia in order to deal with those things. And eventually, the problems became so much more outward-facing than they were inward-facing that the militia ended up kind of absorbing the town watch, and it's all militia now. So within that framework, there are a couple of ranks. Hold up so I don't mess with some of my own stuff up here. You'd have soldiers or watchmen, then captains. There's one captain for every 20 soldiers. Commander, there's one commander for every 3 captains. Knight, which would be for every 3 commanders. And then after that, you have your political ranks like Lord, Baron, King. So here in my hand, we have a soldier, we have a captain, we have a commander, and we have a knight. That's our 4 NPCs that are here. So we just finished our soldier. Now we've got our captain. Let's go in order, yeah? Our captain, actually, this is the ranger. Not all captains are rangers, but the one that we're statting out here happens to be. So what have I not done on this character? They have all their combat stats and everything, and I've already written out kind of their motivation and general demeanor. It looks like I gave them ranks, but maybe I'm not done with that yet. They should have 54 ranks total. This is 2, 8, 14, 19, 25, 30, 35, 38, 40, 46, 51, 54. Was that what I said? 54, I think? Okay. So they have all their skill points. They don't have languages yet. They don't have magic, so we're not missing anything there. Okay, this one was almost done as well, which is what I thought. So 2 things that we need to do here. I need to add the ability modifiers to their skills, and then we need to give them languages. Now this one, they're going to know different languages than the one that we just finished a minute ago, because this person oversees like some of the scouts and spies and those people. So they're more likely to know at least one of the languages that their opponents speak. Let's see, we only get 2 languages. I don't think it makes sense for both of their languages to be enemy languages. I think we want one friendly and one enemy. Think about that a little bit as we go. Not feeling great, haven't felt great all day. Dang it. I'm really sorry, Lee. Alright, let's go through strength 0, dex. Well, I guess it, well, whatever. I don't care. I always forget until I'm going through and doing this how few skills in 3.5 are based on strength. There's 3. Kind of wild. Almost done. I should have grabbed myself something to write on better than this folio. But here we are. And now I just need to total those. I didn't remember how good this character was at hiding. Makes sense, but... See, and this is one of the other reasons why I really like having character sheets written out, especially for major NPCs, is... I don't want to find myself in a situation where an NPC that I created, months or years ago, potentially even, gets interacted with, and then it's like, I don't remember. So I find this really valuable for me, both to help keep the character ideas fresh and also to to give me reference materials in case I need in the future. Now, very specific to our use case, there's also the added benefit of we are running 2 campaigns at the same time within the same campaign setting. I've actually, Lee Merrick in chat there is DMing the other game for us. And it's possible that they might end up needing some of these NPCs in the other game as well. Cool. Skills are done. Also, and if you don't want to get into this, that's totally fine. But out of curiosity, Vincent, how did we meet you? Or are you Music Man? I can't remember. So many names for people. So many people, and then so many people also have multiple names across platforms. All right, back to our languages. 2 minutes left, and we can finish this NPC. I think Goblish makes sense for this NPC. What race is he? I think Goblish makes sense. And we need a goodly race. You are Music Man. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry again, on Sunday, I think it was, that the bot misread something that you typed as a link and removed your message. Now, that kind of thing can be a little off-putting to people. What other language would you like? Abyssal, Aquan, Aran, Celestial Common, Draconic, Druidic, Dwarven, Elven, Giant Gnome, Goblin, Gnoll, Halfling, Ignan, Infernal, Orc, Sylvan, Terran, Undercommon. Yeah, Goblin I already did. That's what I chose for their enemy language. I'm trying to think of a goodly language to give them. But I think I might want to retcon. How big of a change would this be? In the note of Vince's question there. I'd originally envisioned this NPC as a human, but how big of a change would it be to make it a half-elf? Not that big of a change. I think that makes this character more interesting, too. I don't know why I hadn't thought about that before. This is one of the reasons why I like doing this stuff collaboratively. totally going to do that. Technically, I'm supposed to be going on break now, but since I'm in the middle of a thought, let's finish this really fast, and then we'll take a quick stretch break. So, we're the same size, but the same speed. We gain immunity to sleep. And we get a +2 bonus against enchantments. Did you figure out, Vincent, what you wanted to do to bring in that other character at the castle? They gain low light vision. Ooh, you know something else I should be doing here? I just saw a different spot where I should be writing traits and flaws. Not yet, maybe once the party gets out of the castle. Gotcha. Well, if you want to bounce any ideas around, let us know. We've got multiple players and several DMs here. Okay. Let's not mix up my sheets, though. Down there. What else are we doing? Okay, right. Low light vision. Oh, I needed to write that down, though. Given that they are goblin and mostly human kingdom, low profile is necessary. You're talking about for your party? Oh, that's fun. I like that. Oh, this works really well too. It gives a +1 to listen, search, and spot. You have an information collective with the front using courtesans. Spanning over the realm. And is that goblins specifically, or just the party as goblins? Like independent of that. +2 bonus on diplomacy and gather information. Rogues and bards, as you do. Okay, cool. Now he's a half-elf. Did it. So we need one more language. What actually led me there, and this is why I like statting the characters, because otherwise I had just arbitrarily decided that he was going to be human. So I was trying to think about what languages would be cool for the scout captain to have. And I was like, well, Elven kind of makes sense because they're kind of sort of nearish to the Elven Kingdom, certainly closer than most other people in the Kingdom of Ren. And he's a scout, so he's going to spend more time in the wilderness, and he's good with a bow. So like, wait, just make him a half elf. The new player will be a goblin. Nice. I've always wanted to do like an all goblins campaign or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I hope you're enjoying. You're going to say something about your campaign, but people would be able to see if they watch. Oh, that autocorrect. If they watch the vodka with chat on. Beasts. 3.5 does not have a language for beasts. There are some like class traits and things like that that will give some ability to speak with animals or spells, but there is no just like straight up language. So if he already has Elven, because he's half Elven, what does other language be? His other goodly language. Yeah, they've been saying that for a while, Kale. We'll see. We'll see. Who is this? Okay, that makes sense. Wait, is that really her only languages? Sorry, looking at a different character. Oh, it is. I might have to reconsider that when we're going through stuff. Sylvan? So that's actually like sort of a secret language in this world. So a good idea overall, not having that context, but within context, unfortunately, that probably wouldn't be a good fit. I think Dwarven makes sense. Make sure you're not in top chat. Thank you, I'm not. But yes, for other people too, if you didn't know this, YouTube chat defaults to what they call top chat, which may or may not actually show chat in chronological order. In a smaller stream, it usually does, but not always. So it should be kind of at the top left of your chat box. There'll be a little, it'll probably say top chat and then have like a down caret. If you click on that, you can change it to live chat. I think we're going to go with Dwarven because our next NPC actually is the next rank up from this person and is a dwarf. And the Dwarven Kingdom is the other kingdom that kind of, sort of is adjacent to this area. So... Ooh, or no. A lot of gnomes here. We think about his traits and stuff. No, actually neither. We're going to go with halfling. I'm not going to explain why, because that could be like a minor spoiler. Okay. That was a few minutes longer than I intended, but we're good. Any forest dwarves or gnomes? Not as a significant population. There would be both in the area, yes. In fact, I don't think they care if I said. One of our players, I believe, is a forest gnome. I want to look at that. Tyre welcomes you, right? Yeah, forest gnome. Okay, cool. Let's take a 5 minutes. Well, okay. I did a thing, so let's mark it off on our to-do list, right? Because that feels good. No, well, there were 4 NPCs that we wanted to complete today, and we're done with 2. Finish. Finish captain, finish commander, finish soldier, and finish knight. So our commander is done. Our captain is done. Oh, crap. That's wrong. That's wrong. Our soldier is done and our captain is done. We have a commander and a knight to finish. All right. After this, 5-minute stretch and potty break, and then we'll get back to 30-ish minutes more of work. Let me update my little thing. Break ends. Here. Settings, change the timer. 5 minutes. Break ends. 5 minutes. Perfect. By the way, you need to put a few NPCs in the dock soon because you created a courier guild for the campaign. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I would love to see more about it. What is it like going from level 1 at the start? I'll get back to that when we get back from break. Refill your water. If you haven't stretched your legs in a little bit, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. We'll be back in a minute. Did that show up? It probably did. I totally have PJ pants on. No regrets. Okay. 30 more minutes on the clock. Finish these NPCs. These have been somewhere, but depending on the NPC, the 4 of them have been somewhere between 75 and 90% done for like literally 2 months. Also, Vincent, when you get back, let me know and I'll expand on I'll tell you a little bit about my thoughts on your question. I guess if you're not here yet, you won't hear me say that. PJ's at 3 p.m. How dare you? You say after you put PJ pants on as soon as you got home from class at 3, right? I was just feeling it today. Wanted to be comfy. I usually actually make a point of, even though I work from home, of trying not to just wear PJs. But I was feeling it today. Alright, so we have been going in order, but actually the least complete character is the rank 3 out of 4. The commander is the least complete. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, he's definitely only like 50 to 75% done. So let's skip that and go to the knight. For the moment. We can mark another one off. What do we still have to do here? This person has their languages already, so I didn't skimp on that on all the characters, just on some of them. So they have their special abilities, they have their feats, they have their languages, they have their gear. Their equipment, all their primary stats. See if their skill points have been spent. And also... I need to double check which of those are flaws and which of those are traits. Okay, let's go in order here. Look up flaws and traits first. Character flaws. My guess is it's going to be this one. Yep. And that one. Yes. What character is this? Oh. That's kind of weird. I need to change that. That was a bad choice of a flaw for that character. Oh. That would be fun. I think that's a way more interesting flaw for this character. Now, what I want to see... Hold on, I need to double check one thing first. I guess. Wait. Oh, I see. Is there... Let me read the flaws one more time. Feeble, frail, inattentive. Eager fortitude, murky-eyed, non-combatant, pathetic, poor reflexes, shaky, slow, unreactive, vulnerable, weak-willed. Okay. Also, just check in. Vincent, are you back? I'll launch into an answer to your question and have you not be here. Did I start the... Okay, I did start the timer. So that gives us... that and that. Oh, also, don't forget, you guys, if you haven't yet, they could be behind. That's a good point. So two things. One is, what is the other one? Oh, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the stream with a like. That helps push our content out to new people. And two, I forgot how to fix this. Maybe somebody can tell us in chat. Sometimes YouTube streams slowly over the course of time. They accrue a delay, and that delay can end up being in the minutes. So if you haven't done so in a while, you'll want to click on your... either just refresh your stream or click on the video player, and I think it'll tell you, maybe in the options cog or something, it'll tell you how far behind you are. And then I think you can click on something to like skip ahead. All right, let's finish this person's skills. Let's do strength and dex first. Did I ask you something? Well, kind of, sort of, anybody that's able to. I just don't remember exactly how to catch up if your video player is behind. You have to either hit the red live button or just click the 10-second button a bunch of times on mobile. Wow, I totally forgot I built this character this way. This is interesting. Also, this character sheet must have gotten wet at some point. I don't know when that happened. Look, you probably peed on it. I certainly hope not. You don't think you've had that problem before yourself, Kale? Oh, interesting. Almost everyone else that I can never think of watching these has. You know, I would have done if I had thought about it, if I was smart. I should have gotten myself something to write upon while we were taking our break. That's what random pieces of mail are for? Yes, but I meant more something to write upon. This is relatively flexible. My desk is not good enough. Are you kidding me? There's no room at my desk. Actually, it's probably been a while since I've shown this. Here, look at my desk. We're going on an adventure. Hi. There's you. Hey, look, infinite stream. There's the broadcast software and chat. Then there's my main screen. Then there's the other screen, which if we were streaming on Twitch, that would be on too. Then down on the actual desk, there's Stream Deck number 1 and the wireless mouse and keyboard for that computer, the humidifier, speaker, one of Atkinson's books back there, speaker, Stream Deck number 2 for this computer, the Go XLR, our microphone receiver and sound effects board and whatnot, microphone stand with our That's What She Said button, and then other microphone or other stand with the character sheets that we're currently working on, a little bit of room for my water and my dice bag. If you guys have never seen this before, it says apply axe directly to problem, and then my microphone stand. You love how at the ready That's What She Said button is, right? So yeah, that's my desk space. Need a lap desk thingy. Just what I need is more stuff here. But yes, that would be kind of nice. And printer paper, I mean, it's not just random printer paper, it's character sheets, but yes. Hey, welcome back, Vincent. No, the stack of reams that the monitor was on. Oh, yes. Yeah, I need to buy another computer stand. But, you know, money. I feel like I would benefit from a corner desk with that other computer on. Well, but this is, I'm not against a wall. Like, what's behind me back here is Pixie's computer. The closest wall is that one. I just realized something. This character doesn't have their armor check penalty written down on their skills yet. I think that means an L-shaped desk. Oh, so the problem there is I can't go, well, I guess the L could go in that direction. Yeah, I mean, if and when this desk cover needs to be replaced, that might work. It means that you can only leave the desk going in that direction. It would block off going the other way. But... Vincent, to your question earlier of what's it like starting a campaign at level 1, I think it depends a lot on what story you want to tell and how you want to operate your game. If you want your story to be about building a castle and founding a new kingdom, it doesn't make sense for those characters to be level 1, right? Why would they have access to the funds or the political clout to do that? If you want your campaign to at least start with things like fighting, you know, orcs and goblins, it probably doesn't make sense to have your characters be level 15, right? Unless you're going to have them fight 100 at a time. So it kind of all wraps into how you build your game. I think depends a lot on levels. For me personally, I like my games to feel grounded in reality. I like it to feel pseudo-realistic. That's also part of the reason why we use D&D 3.5 instead of newer versions of D&D. Is D&D 3.5 seeks more to be a pseudo-realistic experience. The rules and things for 3.5 try to recreate reality, whereas the rules of 5 tend to be a little bit more rule of cool, a little bit more higher fantasy, a little bit more higher allowance, for lack of a better word. So there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but I think they go best when paired together best. So I really like playing in low-level campaigns. I like the campaign to be a little bit lower power, and I like to watch the characters come into their own. I think that's exciting, seeing the characters get stronger and gain more skills as they go. That's part of what I find interesting about D&D. So I've actually never started a campaign at a higher level. I've done a couple of one-shots at higher levels. If you're interested, actually, I can tell you about my favorite one-shot that I ever played at a higher level. I won't launch into that story if there isn't interest for it, but... armor check penalty. Armor check penalty, I think, is missing on the front of this sheet. Totally is. Okay. Let's fix that.
I'm glad I caught it at least.
As far as space goes in the current desk, honestly, I also just don't usually do this kind of work at this desk. I usually go out to the kitchen or the dining room.
So it's not usually a problem that I can't just work around. I'm here for you guys.
What color is that wall behind me? It's a slightly off-white. And then obviously it's got a bit of a purplish tint to it right now because of the LEDs. All right, skills are done. Traits are written out. Languages are done. That's another done NPC. Slightly longer than I expected, so we might not finish the fourth one today. But we'll get rolling on it at least. We can finish it next week if we need to. What is not done on this? Okay, what is done on this character? Oh, yikes. Okay. So I'm gonna need to spread books and stuff for that. Okay, we're not gonna do that right now. Let's find something else to do. That's gonna be too obnoxious to try and do here at this desk. Maybe an exercise in frustration. Pivot. Something we can do in 5 to 10 minutes. Is this, and why do I have it in my notes? You know, we could just do a little Q&A if I don't see anything that jumps out at me. How can you use politics or faction issues without bogging things down? Well, the short version is, I mean, anything that you add, right, is going to take time and have a potential knock-on effect of taking more time. So I don't think you can do it without bogging things down at least a little bit, but without it becoming an unnecessary detriment. I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. I think it comes down to how you present it to the players, to the player characters. So when, like, let's say that there's a guild that the player characters have been getting quests from. If they go to the guild master and say, like, what's going on? Like, tell us your rumors, like, give us some news. If the guild master just says, our second in command got assassinated by a member of another guild, that sounds like a plot hook, right? That's going to be the distraction. But if they say, our second in command got assassinated by a member of another guild, and we are in the process of bribing a local noble to take legal action against them, then you can go one of two directions with that. You can either say, essentially, so don't worry about it. So that way it's just flavor. Or it can become a quick distraction, right? Like I said, anything that you add is going to become something of a distraction. But you can manage that a little bit. So instead of the players feeling like, oh, we need to go and take on this whole other guild, you can say, I need you to deliver this bribe to that noble. Something like that. So that way it becomes a quick thing. It gives you a chance to introduce another NPC. It can become a plot hook for later interactions if you want, if you end up deciding to go that direction. But that would be kind of my quick down and dirty answer to that. Part of it is crucial to one of the party who is a knight of a baron. Okay, so I think I would just decide at the outset whether you want that to potentially become, whether it's flavor or whether you want that to have the opportunity of becoming something more. If you want it to be flavor, then I think just dangling it, kind of like I said, and then providing an NPC solution for it probably should, in most circumstances, help keep that from bogging down. I think if you want it to have a little bit more potential of future interaction, but you don't want it to become a major time sink, trying to find a halfway solution like I suggested. Of can the party be messengers, or can the party give a tip to a local guard captain, or or do you just want to dive into it? Which in this case it sounds like you don't, right? But of course you could just go jump in with both feet. But I think that would kind of be my advice. We've got a few more minutes. If you want to give a little bit more context, I can try and give a little bit more specific advice. But I think that's a good jumping off point, at least. We don't need flaws anymore. We don't need armor info anymore. We don't need that anymore. We need that or that. You know what? I'm going to organize my notes. That's what we'll do for the last few minutes. So I think that needs to be done before next session. I think that needs to be done before next session for sure. That needs to be done before next session. You think it'll be more than flavor because of how entrenched it is in their backstory? That was kind of my guess. So yeah, is what halfway solution can you find? Can the players discover something and then pass that information off to an NPC? Or can an NPC give the players information but then give them a specific closed-ended task to do with that information? Those would probably be the two best ways to get engaged with it, while kind of putting an endpoint on it as well. Also true. Yes. What Lee said. Okay, that can be a long-term thing. That can be a long-term thing. That can be a long-term thing. These things need to be done before next session. Yeah, I think either way, I think providing a closed-ended solution is gonna help, because if they weren't gonna engage with it at all, then you can force their hand a little bit while having an endpoint that will let them out of it. And if they're gonna get too engaged with it, then that endpoint can, you know, force their hands to move on. Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for your questions and your insight. I super appreciate it. Absolutely. All right, so the hope is that session 5's video with overlays, they'll be somewhat minimalistic, but with overlays will hopefully go up on Friday. That's the plan. We'll have a working stream again next week on probably Wednesday. And then I don't know for sure if there will or won't be one the following weeks. It's going to depend on whatever does or doesn't happen with our subathon on Twitch. So yeah, as far as our D&D content goes, working stream today, session video hopefully goes up on Friday. That's the plan. Working stream next Wednesday as well. I lined out 3 things that I want to complete during next week's working stream. And I think that's a good point to call it. There may or may not have been a locked chest on the first boat with some goodies. You brought your players right to it. They decided not to lockpick the chest. I mean, that's, I think, a little bit more gentle of a dangle than what he's talking about. But yes, your point absolutely stands. How can you pinpoint what might have lasting effects on a realm? Honestly, you can't. But I think the important thing there is something that, especially that people that really are invested in being game masters and that really love what they're doing and that are engaged with their world, it can be tempting to overplan specifics. And then, as Lee just touched on in chat, right, is sometimes those specifics get ignored. So I tend to focus more on like systems, because the specifics, no matter what you planned, it's probably going to change. So I think my suggestion to you there before we log off for the day would be more to try and get your mindset in the fact that it's essentially you're going to change it later. Like you as the GM don't need to have all the solutions in mind necessarily. It's going to look to the players like you did. But you can start at point A, send them to point B, and not know what point C is. And then let them do whatever they're going to do at point B, and then decide what happens at point C based on what they did. Personally, I believe it's important to not always let them succeed, so don't just always choose point C based on, like, you know, point C doesn't always have to be a point of success, right, based on what they did. But yeah, I would urge you towards not over planning for like outcomes or political repercussions or that kind of thing until you know what's going to happen in the middle. If you plan the endings, you're going to end up, a lot of that work's going to get wasted, from my experience. Everything a player does has lasting effects, just how much of an effect. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I mean, it was not our chest, it was the boat people's chest. You would have gotten in trouble. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, I could keep going down the rabbit hole. I love these streams, and I also think that part of the reason that I love them is because I try and stick to my guns and actually end, you know, at least more or less on time. Today was a little bit longer, but 90 minutes is my cap. We're at about 80 right now. So thank you so much. More D&D content should hit YouTube, like I said, Friday. Next working stream will be next Wednesday afternoon. And if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, after we log off here, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break, and then I'm going to be streaming the new Magic the Gathering set on Discord, discord.gg/HereThereBeMonsters in 5-ish minutes. So thank you guys so much. Take care. And as always, be excellent to each other.